Dealing with a difficult business partner. In every workplace, you are likely to perceive some colleagues are being more difficult to work than the other. Before you rush to judgment, you should determine if and how you might be contributing to the situation. After all, it's entirely possible that you are the problem. If you have determined that the problem isn't you, then this EIY education session can help. In this session, our guest speaker, Miss Amy, will address some communication challenges at workplace and how are we going to resolve it. Miss Amy is a Swiss American communication expert. Amy coaches multinationals to build highly successful, profitable, and emotionally intelligent relationships, socializing in leadership, communication, and possible influence. Amy's keynotes and programs are highly engaging, interactive, and instantly applicable. Along with her seven partner mindset techniques, participants discover how to communicate mutual respect and rapidly achieve positive results. Hello, Miss Amy. We welcome you to EY
Thanks.
Education tonight.
Oh, I'm delighted to be with you, Anne. Thank you.
Yep. And hi everyone, in case that you have any questions to Miss Amy, please make sure that you can comment on the comment section so that we can send the questions to her and we can address your issues related to the topic dealing with the difficult business partners. Now let's get into the first question, Miss Amy. In your work experience, what common challenges do people face when at work and at home when it comes to communication breakdown?
And I love that you said at work and at home,
Yeah.
because sometimes we're able to control ourselves better at work, and at home we misbehave more. So I would say one of the main things from my own experience and when I talk to people is our egos get triggered.
Hmm.
And someone has said something or done something, and we either take offense and we feel defensive, or we feel attacked and aggressed.
Mm.
And either way, it causes us to overreact most of the time if we haven't trained ourselves to control our inner aggressor or protector.
Mm. So it means that we have some challenges. Could you please be specific to explain
Sure.
some situations?
Yeah. So a lot of I think what I'd like to do is I'm going to go into a little short explanation of this model of predator prey partner, and then that will bring it alive.
Yeah,
So, and right now, you and I are behaving as partners,
yeah,
meaning we're holding high respect for ourselves, high respect for the other, all as well.
yeah.
The problem is under pressure, stress, perceived threat, crisis, COVID, or just if we're hungry,
Mm.
angry, lonely, or tired, we can slip into one of the two extremes. So, one extreme is the predator, and the predator holds too much respect for herself, not enough for others, and she often leaves people feeling intimidated or disrespected.
Mm.
And it's amazing how many people who act as predators don't even realize they're being predators. That's always surprised me. The
Mm.
other extreme is the prey, and we spell that Prey, although they're often Praying because they're usually really nice people. And the problem is they hold too much respect for the other and not enough for themselves. And
Mm.
this imbalance can trigger even a nice person to become a predator towards us.
Mm.
So, another way to say it is if someone's treating you in a way that's disrespectful, it's possible that you've been too nice to them.
Oh.
So, so with that model, to go back to some specifics in the business world, you
Mm.
might have like you're in a team meeting, and so let's say you and I are, in a small group of people, and
Mm.
I say, and that doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
Now, you've heard me imply something negative about your intelligence or something. And
Yeah.
now you're like, whoa, girl, I don't think so. So you're either going to be feel defensive or attacked or angry or frustrated, and I will have damaged the relationship not even realizing it. So the idea here is for you to use your partner skills, both the mindset, how you're thinking about the situation, and your behaviors. And you might make up a quick story. Like the first story might have been, oh, Amy's disrespecting me. A different story might be, oh, Amy's dog, I know her pet animal was sick and maybe it's gotten worse, or maybe someone in her family has gotten COVID. Or so you would make up a story not to justify or defend my unacceptable behavior,
Yeah.
for you to calm yourself down, to have empathy for me, which is going to make it easier for you to stay partner with me. And what that does is your body stays calm. You don't show your frustration or defensiveness on your face. You may still feel it inside, except it's not registering and I'm not seeing any of it. And then you use another partner mindset technique is you interact with me as if I'm being completely reasonable. This is a really hard thing for people to do because my behavior is unacceptable.
Yeah, sure.
Right in the moment, what you want to do is just act as if all is well. And then what that does is me as the predator, because I'm not getting a reaction from you. I'm expecting either a prey or predator reaction. I get neither. My brain gets confused. And then I think very quickly, I'm going to look really stupid in a minute if I keep misbehaving. So then I'm motivated to calibrate my own behavior.
Yeah.
To recalibrate it to be more respectful partner. Because if you're holding yourself high respect for yourself and high respect for me, I know there's a limited offer of that. There, if I keep misbehaving, you're not going to put up with it forever.
Yeah.
So then often I'll change my own behavior. So I want to say one more thing about this example, Anne, is my behavior is still not okay. Even if you get me to change, to recalibrate, to partner, at some point you might choose to confront me and to say, it might be 2 days later, it might be a week later, and you say, Amy, do you have time to speak? And you will have thought about what you want to say, and you will calmly and assertively let me know, Amy, in the meeting last week, when you said what you said in the tone that you said it with, that wasn't okay for me. I want a mutually respectful relationship. So then you would confront me, except you'd be able to do it as a partner. In the moment, if I'm being too aggressive and you confront me, I might lose face and feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
The other possibility is that in the moment when tensions are high, it might be a little bit too challenging for most of us to confront someone and still guarantee that we're going to stay partner.
A very useful example, Miss Amy. It means that when we have conflicts with someone inside of us, we have so many thoughts before we come to different approaches.
Yeah.
In order to resolve the conflicts, right? So I'm curious about one point that you just mentioned in your session, that is why the more fragile or the more nice we are, the more aggressive the other person can be.
So am I understanding your question is, why is it that when we're really nice or too nice, that will trigger someone else to be aggressive towards us?
Yes.
Wow, I'm not sure I know the precise answer. I just
Yeah.
know that the dynamics are, if I'm holding too much, like too little respect for myself and too much for the other person doesn't experience it as valuable. So and then they dismiss it. So let me say it differently.
Yeah.
If you're holding high respect for yourself and you're holding high respect for me, the value you're holding for me, or no, the respect you're holding for me has greater value because of the respect you're holding for yourself. So I don't know if it's something around perceived value.
It can be a great answer, Miss Amy, because I agree with you that at least that we need to have respect for ourselves. Then we're gonna have respect for others. So let's come to the second question. That is that what
Oh,
is the
hold on. Let me just stop that. What did I hear you say? When we have respect for ourselves, we'll have respect for others.
yes?
I think we have to check. We have to make, if we, it's really
Mm,
fantastic and important that we have respect for
mm,
ourselves.
yeah,
Though sometimes that we overdo it and we hold too much respect for ourselves, and then we can appear arrogant
sure.
or right. So it's got to be a balance. I'm holding high respect for myself,
Mm,
and I've got to pay attention. Am I holding high respect for the other? And that can
sure.
be done through simple things like body language, voice, and words.
Mm,
Thanks for letting me add that.
yeah, I think that there's a thin line between being respectful to yourself and then being too arrogant. So there's a thin line there.
And people say that, and under pressure, it can be more problematic.
Mm,
And respect can be shown different ways. Am I letting them interrupt me? Am I smiling? Am I acknowledging what I heard them say? So
mm,
there's different ways to show it.
yeah,
And
sure.
yeah, yeah. So I think that if people think, oops, I was holding too much respect for myself, they can recalibrate it. So that thin line,
Mm,
um, it's not like all or nothing.
yeah, thank you for clarifying that. The second point is what is predator, prey, partner model, and why is it a game changer, Miss Emmy?
Well, that's what that explanation earlier, like the
Mm,
predator holds too much respect for herself, the prey
mm,
holds too little. And the reason why partner is a game changer is
mm,
because the first thing is both people don't have to be playing partner for it to work.
mm,
It's more pleasurable. We prefer that. Yet, if I'm holding what we call a strong partner frame, and let's
mm,
say you're a predator and you see and feel the strong partner frame, you are motivated to recalibrate your own behavior to come into my frame of partner. So
mm,
you're likely, no guarantee, though you're likely to
mm,
recalibrate your own behavior because, as I was saying earlier, I'm not going to hold this high value for you and be generous forever. There's a
mm,
limited time offer. So often a predator will recalibrate their own behavior to come into the frame.
mm,
The other reason why it's a game changer is because if someone is a prey with me and I'm holding a strong partner frame, the prey feels safe and respected. The
mm,
predator feels the respect, the prey feels mostly the safety and the respect, and then a prey will often recalibrate themselves to come into my frame.
mm,
So that's what makes this so amazing is only one person has to play partner. And if you
mm,
can really put your ego to the side and hold that strong frame, most people will come into your frame with you,
mm. I
even
see.
under pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You just mentioned a great point, Miss Amy, because I see that we understand the communication techniques and how can we resolve the conflicts at workplace. But sometimes that when the emotion is too high or our ego is too big, it's really hard to manage it in order to apply techniques.
Yes.
In those cases, what should we do in order to resolve the conflicts when the emotion is really high?
I'll say some things that we can do in the moment and some things we can do prior.
Yep.
So in the moment, I've started to learn that I can't always trust myself if my ego is too triggered.
Mm,
And so I've learned to keep my mouth shut. And I think it was Cyril who you interviewed who was saying the importance of listening. So
mm,
listen, listen, listen. Show that you're listening. And
mm,
if I'm in conflict with someone and I've got my mouth shut and I'm just
mm,
yep, and just doing the act of listening,
mm,
and maybe I summarize. So let's say you and I are in conflict, and you're saying, Amy, you're being so disrespectful and you keep interrupting me. And I say, yeah, right. I see. Okay. And then I wait till you finish speaking. I say, and if I understand correctly, you're experiencing me as being disrespectful and I'm interrupting you. Whether or not I agree with you.
Yeah. You acknowledge me.
I acknowledge what you've said. And that
Yeah.
it's summarizing what you said. Maybe you misspoke so you could correct yourself. Or maybe I misheard you. You could correct me. And if it was accurate, what I said, then sometimes that will offer you what we call emergency empathy. And that even just me repeating your words back can be perceived as empathy. And then that may calm you down. And this whole time, I've kept myself, from saying anything because I might be feeling defensive or angry. So in the moment you can do that, except to be able to do that well, you got to practice it. So yeah. So I've created lots of videos. They're on my website. People can check them out. There's one on active listening and active interruption and how to use that and do it effectively. And then you find your guinea pigs, whether they're your friends or your nieces, nephews, children, partner, whoever loves you. Let them know I'm going to practice this skill until I get good at it. And it's going to be weird at first. Or you practice with strangers. You have to call somebody on tech support. You say, yeah, okay, right. Then you had a little bit of practice. Yeah. So what we're doing, Anne, is we're creating new pathways in the brain so that under pressure, eventually, over time, you'll have access to them.
Yeah. I got your point. It's just like that you build up the foundation for your habit. And next time when you encounter that hashtag conversation again, you already been experienced before.
Yeah. And then also, and when you fail miserably, which we all fail, we do it terribly, rather than waste time beating yourself up, as soon as you can, an hour later, a day later, a week later, go back and analyze it and say, okay, what did I do that worked well? And what can I do to be more effective?
Yeah.
And by raising the awareness of what's working well, you're like, oh, I can do more of that. And what you can do differently next time, you'll have the awareness and you may be able to be successful the next time after that.
Good, very great techniques, Miss Emmy. The next point is you are obsessed with something called downward inflection. And what is it and why is it so impactful, Miss Emmy?
So, and the most famous person in the world who I can think of who does the downward inflection is this guy. So I'll demonstrate. My name is Bond, James Bond. So what he does when he says his name, Bond, his voice goes down. That's the downward inflection. James Bond. So imagine, could you imagine, Anne, if he comes on the first scene and he says, my name is Bond, James Bond? Not sure you make it to the second scene. So there's something about the downward inflection that works really well for women, especially, though really men who are like really nice and gentle do it well, make the mistake of doing the upward inflection because many people are socialized. If I do the upward inflection, I'm implying I'm not a threat. So it seems like a good idea, except it triggers a predator reaction so rapidly, it will surprise you. I'll tell you a short story.
Yeah.
I even though, as you said, I'm Swiss American, I live in the French part of Switzerland, and I was in the German part in Zurich 5 years ago giving a workshop. And I was just about to start. A woman ran in. She was carrying her little fluffy dog. She said, can I bring him to the workshop? I didn't have time to go home. I said, sure. So she puts the dog down, guarantees he's not going to be a problem. I'm like, great, no problem. I start the workshop and I do the demonstration of the predator. And I say, good evening. My name is Amy Carroll. I'm really happy to be here. And I sound kind of aggressive and intimidating. And then I do the opposite, the pray demonstration, which was this. Good evening. My name is Amy Carroll. I'm a coach and a trainer. I live in Switzerland. I'm really happy to be here. You know, and so, right, you can see it here. It's like,
I see the difference.
like me, like me.
Yeah, yeah.
That little dog started to do this. Arr, 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 arr.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, you didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I see.
So the downward inflection, and you got to do it with a warm smile because people will do. So I'll show you 3 examples. And this is, we saw the upward inflection. Hi, my name is Amy Carroll. I'm a coach and a trainer. Okay. I'm really nice, except I might not sound very experienced. So I'm already damaging the perception you have of me. So here is the downward inflection with no smile. Hi, my name is Amy Carroll. I'm a coach and a trainer. And now it's like, oh, she's kind of scary. So people need to do a combination of the downward inflection with a warm smile. So it looks like this. And even on the phone, you can hear it. Hi, my name is Amy Carroll. I'm a coach and trainer. So that's the magic combination. And at first, it's so frustrating for people because they can't hear when they're doing the upper inflection. So I tell people, grab your smartphone, get the little audio recorder, speak into it, and then listen. And you're going to have to, it's going to take some time for you to train your ear. Though I've got a newsletter on the downward inflection. I've got podcasts for people to listen to. So there's more ways that they can train themselves.
So it means that downward inflection is not only about threat, but also that when you combine with smile, you project competency and warmth at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, I got you. That is a very powerful tip, especially when you negotiate, Miss Amy. It creates more power.
Yes.
Yeah. The next point is you describe your work as emotional aikido. Why the comparison and what are some of the key skills you teach your clients to achieve this?
So, and I'm working in 2 directions with people, from outside in to look and sound like a partner, and then from inside out to think like a partner. So let me talk about the internal mindset techniques first, the thinking. You want to put the relationship as the highest of importance, ahead of results. And it's like, you know, think of it as a marriage versus a one-night stand. Right?
Yeah.
Assume the other person has positive intent. So one example is that we sometimes assume negative stories, like when you and I were in that imaginary conflict. And so you want to think, okay, they have positive intent, and it's just the packaging of their message that just is terrible. Again, it's not saying that that you shouldn't address the packaging. You may still want to say something, though separate out the person's intent from the way they're sending their message. Another thing might be useful to state partner is to assume that or acknowledge rather, when you're attached to a certain outcome. At the very least, acknowledge that to yourself. And if you're feeling really brave, you may acknowledge it to the other person. So if you and I are having a disagreement, I might say, and I have to admit, I'm really attached to getting the budget that we requested. So I'm not saying I'm going to get it. I'm admitting to you that I'm biased. And by admitting that I'm biased and subjective makes me more objective.
I see.
And who knows, it might impact my thinking, and it may impact your thinking, like, oh, wow, this woman, you know, Amy's being really self-aware.
Yes. And I think that is the power of being vulnerability, Miss Amy.
Yes. I so agree. It's so powerful. And for a lot of people, it's very scary. And I'm guessing you're familiar with Brene Brown's work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a person who I would encourage people to watch her TED Talks on vulnerability and shame. And any other work you can get her hands on, her books are amazing.
Yeah, I
So
think that. Yeah, go ahead,
go
Miss
ahead.
Yeah, I think that we have some question here related to the first point.
Okay. I
Previous.
didn't, I'll talk about the external partner mindset stuff later
Sure,
then.
sure.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that let's talk about the last point. That is, what is an effective way to neutralize an aggressive person in any given situation, Miss Emmy?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is so hard for people to do that I made an 11-minute video about it. So people
Um,
can watch it on my website. And
sure.
at the high level, what I'll say is, as much as you can, you want to keep the body calm. Because if I'm stressed and I'm defensive, my body tends to move. So you want to learn
Yeah.
to train your body to keep it calm. And it's possible to do that. The soft smile we talked about earlier makes you look like you're not a threat. It makes you look relaxed. You want to stay engaged. So it's the two examples I gave earlier of um, I gave two things. Right now, I'm talking about pretending not to notice that the other person's being aggressive.
Yeah.
It's tricky to do, and it's possible. And you can do that through the warm smile, the still body, and then the active listening. So if you were yelling at me, I'd say, yeah, I see. Now, my brain might be plotting my escape because this is so scary, except
Yeah.
you don't know that. You think I'm all calm and collected and interested. And as I said, it confuses the aggressor, and then very quickly they will shift their own behavior. It doesn't work 100% of the time. It works way more than 50% of the time. That's the good news, once you do it effectively.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I think the only challenge we have is that at that time when they are so aggressive, how can we manage ourselves to be calm like that?
Practice, 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 practice. You won't be able to do it the first, second, or third time. Start with a little kid having a tantrum.
Yeah.
When a little kid is having a tantrum, sometimes we as the adult are able to stand there and go, yep, right. Oh, sweetie. Oh, yes. No, you're so mad. You have to go to bed. Yeah. And for some of us, we're able to separate that out. And we're able to stay calm even though that kid is having this tantrum. It's not that much different than with two adults, except that what they're saying is we're taking it very personally. We're feeling threatened by it. And that takes many, 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 many months of training to get to the point where, first of all, if you're already able to appear calm and cool and collected externally, that can take, maybe after just a couple of weeks of regular practice, you might already start to notice a difference. And then maybe after many, many more times, sometimes now when someone verbally attacks me, some of the time I don't take it personally. And almost every time I'm able to look calm, cool, and collected externally. Though it's only because I was training for 3 to 5 minutes a day, learning to keep my body still, doing active listening. So you're creating that new pathway. That's how you do it, and it will take time.
Yeah, you create new pathway for your brain so that it can encounter next time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that we just only have around 1 more minute before we finish our session tonight. There was one audience asking us that should we smile or not smile when you use that word inflection?
Well, the smile is crucial. Most people don't smile enough.
Yeah.
A smile is literally saying, today you're safe. Today you won't die. I can't promise tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's how important it is. You definitely want to do it with a downward flexion, because otherwise the downward flexion, as we saw, could sound or look too harsh. The only exception is, don't smile or laugh if you're feeling nervous or stressed. That would be the one time where I would recommend that you just keep a relaxed face. Don't look stressed. Just keep your face relaxed and calm looking, even though inside you won't be feeling calm.
I see. So that is, it means that whenever you're nervous or stressed, you may want just to stay calm. Don't need to stay the opposite by smiling.
Right. Because sometimes then we give away that we're actually nervous or stressed.
I got you. That's a useful tip, Miss Emmy. So I think that let's close our EIY education session tonight. And what is your final message that you would like to share with our viewers before we finish? And in case that they would like to know more about you or your communication book, how should we find it, Miss Emmy?
Sure. Okay, so let me think a moment what my final message is while I'm sharing my contact info.
Yeah,
Easiest would be my website,
yeah,
carrollcoaching.com. And as you can see, that's spelled with 2 R's and 2 L's.
yeah.
And people can find me on Amy Carroll Coaching on most of social media. And the
Mm,
book, The Ego Tango, is there we go, that's the title. The Ego
yeah.
Tango. This can be found on Amazon. And
Mm,
on my website, I have the video version of the book of me talking about the different chapters and the different techniques. So people can also just watch the 10 short videos on the Ego Tango.
That's very awesome, Miss Amy. And on behalf of our audience in Vietnam, I do appreciate so much for your participation tonight, and you share so many insights toward communication and how it can deal with different kinds of people. Thank you so
Super.
much.
And my last message would be make sure you're holding high respect for yourself and for others because magic happens when we do that.
Awesome. Bye bye, Miss Amy, and bye everyone.
Bye, Anne.
Bye.